Hi, it's me, Amina. I spent over $40,000 on my master's degree in accounting and finance just to realize that the secrets of the wealthy are fairly simple once you strip down the jargon. Welcome to the series where I teach you for free all the things I learned for a fortune. And today, the topic of discussion is the credit cards. The bank wants you to think of a credit card as extra money for a rainy day. But I learned that a credit card is actually a sophisticated high-interest weapon. And if you don't know how to use it, you're the one who is getting hurt the most. Let me use my fancy degree to break down for you the 3 rules that you need to know so that you're not getting hurt. Rule number 1. The minimum payment is a secret subscription of poverty. During my studies, I learned the term amortization schedules, and it's just a fancy way to say the math of how to make this debt last forever. This is the goal of the banks. This is their bread and butter. And if you ever used at least once in your lifetime a credit card, you know that banks offer the minimum payment. So what is this minimum payment? When your bill arrives, the bank highlights this tiny, small amount that you owe. It's usually 2% of the total that you owe to the bank. They make it look like as if they're making you a favor by offering to pay a smaller amount. But remember, in finance, there is no such thing as free lunch. Why does the bank do this to us? And what does it mean to us, this minimum payment? Let's use an example to make things easy and clear. Let's say you buy a laptop for 1,000 euros using a credit card. This 1,000 euros needs to be paid on the due date, right? The due date comes, you receive the bank statement. The bank says, you can pay the minimum amount now, which is, let's say, the 25 euros. So you think, perfect, instead of paying 1,000 euros now, I can pay 25 instead. Of course, it's a huge difference. So you go ahead and pay the 25 euros, which is the minimum amount, versus the full amount, 1,000 euros. But little do you know that the 25 euros that you just paid is comprised from 2 numbers. The 21 euro, which is the interest that bank just earned by you paying the 25 euros, and the 4 euros that actually goes to the price of the laptop. Essentially, it means that you decreased your 1,000 euro laptop price by only 4 euros by paying this minimum 25 euros. Time goes on, every month you pay 25 euros, 25 euros, 25 euros, and it means that the 1,000 euro debt is prolonged over 10-15 years. So by the time you pay it off, you in total paid 2.5k, which is comprised of the laptop value, which is 1,000 euros. Probably you don't have it anymore because it broke and you threw it away. And the 1.5 interest, you essentially bought 3 laptops over the period of these 10 years because you didn't pay the 1,000 10 years ago directly. The bank calls these people who only pay the minimum amount every month revolvers. And the bank loves these people because these people stay in debt forever by paying small amounts every month, the highest of which is the interest for the bank. But let's not be revolvers. To win this game, you have to be a transactor. Who is a transactor? A transactor who pays the full amount every month. If I have 1,000 euros to be paid to my bank for the credit card, me as a transactor, I will pay the full 1,000 euros. That way, the bank makes 0 interest on me and I'm basically using their money for free. Essentially, it's a win for me and a loss for the bank. Rule number 2 that you need to know when using a credit card is the trust meter. Your credit score is a trust meter for the bank. In finance, we call this credit utilization. But I want you to think about it as a thirst scale. The bank is constantly watching you, how thirsty you are for the money that they give you, how thirsty you are for this credit card, how thirsty you are for this debt. And here the issue is that most people think that as long as you pay on time, it's absolutely perfect. It's good that you pay everything on time, but that's just half of the story. And what is the other half? The other half of the story is that the bank constantly monitors how much of this available balance you are using. And by the way, if you're still watching this video and enjoying it, please don't forget to like and subscribe. It goes a very long way for my small channel. Thanks for support. So the bank looks at how much of this available money you are using. What does it mean? Again, let's use an example to make things super clear and understandable. Imagine you have a friend with a steady job, but every Friday, this friend asks for money. Let's say he asks for 100 euros. But at the same time, this friend always gives this money back. So you would start thinking, why does this person always spends all his money to a zero? Your trust in his financial situation becomes shaky. And this is exactly how the bank's computer feels. If your balance is 1,000 euros in your credit card and you spend 900 euros every month, the bank panics. The computer puts you directly in the high risk because it says, I gave you 1,000 and you are spending most of it every month. They think you live on the edge and you are one emergency away from going overdraft, from not being able to repay. Hence, you are a high-risk customer. To win this game, you have to play hard to get. In finance, we have this 30% rule that states, if you have a 1,000 euro in your credit card, don't go over the 700 euro balance. Basically, always leave the 300 euros in that balance so that the bank thinks you don't need their money to survive. Basically, you have to signal to the bank that you are making favor to them by using their money and not the other way around. Rule number 3. The points you get from your credit card aren't free. In fact, they're one of the most expensive gifts you can ever receive. I know you are not convinced, but let me break it down for you, and after my explanation, let me know in the comments below if you were convinced or not. Banks don't give you 2% extra cash or extra miles because they're generous. They do it because they mastered the psychology of the small wins. They give you a tiny price to distract you while they take a bigger portion of your pocket. Data across industry shows that people spend 12 to 18% more on average when they use a card instead of cash. Why? Because when you swipe with a card, it doesn't feel like you're losing money. So data shows that it's less painful for us to pay by card rather than cash. Then the bank adds on top of it a layer of points that makes us feel as if we're gaining something instead of losing. Imagine you're online shopping. You see a pair of boots for 150 euros, but you don't really need them. But then the app tells you add an extra 50 euro to your cart to unlock 500 bonus mile. Suddenly, your brain stops thinking about the 200 euro that you will be spending and directly anchors it into this price that you will get after spending this. So directly, you're not thinking about it in a negative way, you're thinking about it in a positive way. Then you spend an extra 50 euros just to win this 2 euro voucher that gives you what? I don't know. Usually as well, these vouchers are very useless. I don't know if anyone ever used these discounts or vouchers. If they were useful to you, please let me know. You literally trade this extra 50 euros to get a 2 euro voucher just because it's classified as a win, as a prize. And this is how our brains work. Now, question: would you trade a 50 euro for a 2 euro coupon? No, you wouldn't. Me personally, I wouldn't. So stop doing this. You are spending real 100% euros, dollars, just to get some points that can only be used in specific stores that bank allows you to spend on. This isn't investment. It's purely a marketing trick. That's called the gamification, that they've literally turned your financial life into a video game where they own the scoreboard. And remember this, points are only a win if you're already going to buy that exact item with cash you already have sitting in your account. The wealthy use these points to subsidize their lifestyle. They don't change their lifestyle to earn more points. They use the points to change their life. If you are one of these people who's spending extra money, extra euro, extra dollar to win a point, trust me, the bank already has won this game. Now, I've discussed all these 3 rules that you need to know as a credit card user, and as long as you're aware of these things, as long as you have this information, you can make your own decisions. And let's not forget that my $40,000 master's degree in accounting and finance taught me that wealthy people don't have better brains. They use a credit card to stay liquid, to have extra cash, but not as a life raft to stay afloat. If you do one thing after this video, let it be this. Go into your banking app right now and set your credit card payment to full statement balance. Not the fixed amount, not the minimum payment, the full. We need to pay the full amount to stop paying all this high interest to the bank. Right now, if you cannot afford it, it is a signal that you need to stop swiping today. Treat your credit card like your debit card. If the money is not in your checking account right now, it doesn't exist. You cannot spend anything. Doing this, you stop the subscription to poverty. You save yourself from the debt. You fix the trust meter, and you stop being the bank's favorite customer. That's it from me for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. I really enjoyed making it, and if you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. Take care of yourself and your personal finances, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!